Hey, welcome to Toontyme, bringing you Newcastle news and discussion. This is basically the post-match review for the game against Wolverhampton Wanderers. It's a 1-1 draw. Both goals were fantastic to look at. It could be a goal of the month contenders. So, but it's an interesting game, to be honest. Uh, Even though we were in control of things, you could see the lack of creativity at times in the final third. And they definitely missed Callum Wilson and Bruno G, especially. Just that lack of clinical ability up front, the movements that was necessary from Wilson and Bruno with the attacking nous, that knowing how to weigh balls and how to string the passes together. He needed that extra danger that he brings. It was a tough game. Wolves made it very difficult. You would have thought that we were at home, to be honest, considering everything that happened in the game. It was a tough to the team to try and break down. When we went down 1-0, it wasn't particularly deserved, considering the half that had gone through. But the team stuck to Eddie Howe's principles and how he wants us to play. Front foot, being aggressive, pressing from the front. Taking control of the ball, our own destiny, and that's what I like. It's even when things go against us, he's still trying to be proactive in the way he wants the players to play, as well as when we drew level, to continue to go forward and try and win the game rather than hang on for point or something of that nature. He always wants to get the wins. It's that winning mentality he's trying to instill in the squad, in each player, that when we go onto that pitch, as much as we want to entertain and be, have that aesthetic that we're always trying to win. That's the first objective, and that's what he wants those players to understand first and foremost. So, throughout the game, Wolves made it very difficult to set quite deep. Trying to hit on the counters, and had a couple of opportunities from that. But it's like I think I saw an interview from Ruben Neves where he was coming up with some strange talk. To be honest, he was saying, like, maybe he was thinking when he was still being managed by Steve Bruce, he was talking about his long balls and winning second balls and all that, and that did have to happen at times. But that's inevitable in any match. We try to keep the ball on the deck and break their lines. It's just in the final third, it wasn't happening. I think, and he's also talking about the Fabian Schär tackle, which at the time it wasn't a great tackle by him, to be honest. It was quite reckless and late, but it was also one of those ones. It's on the edge. If the referee had given it as a red card, you could think, oh, it's harsh, but it was understandable, and he managed to get away with it. It's something that Eddie Howe may want to start addressing. It's the timing of some of the challenges. I know it's a frantic and fast game in the Premier League, but at times it's gonna cost us sooner or later. We've gotten away with a few of them now, and he's got to just try and temper them a little bit. He wants them to be committed, but he can't be reckless within those parameters that he's trying to put to the players. Also, what else did Neves say? Yeah, and he thought that Wolves should have won. I don't know what he was talking about. They were not the better team. They were very poor, to be honest. I don't know what they're trying to achieve, but maybe it's because they're trying to embed a new system after playing that 3-5-2 for so long. Or was it a 3-4-3? I can't remember, but basically three at the back and quite low blocks. but no way could they say there was the result today was unjust. It was fair enough, but not because they just held their ground against us. It was more that at times it was just lacking that quality in the final third. And if we had won, it would I personally feel it would have been very good value for it. But there's certain things throughout the game where we kind of suffered because Sam Maximan, even though he came up with the brilliant equaliser, that volley was excellent, and especially the timing of it as well. That he was just excellent play by him because he at times you could see he was cutting more and more of a frustrated figure. He's you could see that he was trying to make things happen, but I think he was suffering without that with the lack of a overlap that Matt Target would bring, and hopefully he's back for the next game against Liverpool because it will give him that option. But it may work in his favour because, especially against Man City, as he was hitting out them on the counter and knocking the balls into those spaces, it wasn't worrying about having the overlap as much. But because we had more of the possession today, he needed that overlap, and it gives him that option. When we're playing against teams where we're going to have more of the ball, he needs that overlap, so players can't try and double up on him and know that he's only got pretty much those two options, rather than will he drive to the byline, will he drive inside, or will he just knock a pass for the overlap? And if the overlap could run on the outside of him or even on the inside, so it makes a lot more options and it takes away the double team that Wolves were able to deploy a bit on him today. So against Liverpool, it should be a lot better. Should be more opportunities, especially to get behind Trent, hopefully, because Trent, even though he's brilliant going forward, his defense leaves something to be desired, and it's a spot that can be exploited as far as I'm concerned. Much like what happened against Man City, that Eddie Howe identified what Pep Guardiola was doing, using the fullbacks to join into the midfielders, and they would have to drop back, and those spaces, especially on counter attacks, they're being attacked. And you saw that also when they played Crystal Palace, they were trying to do something similar when they were trying to counter, but we were a lot more progressive than Crystal Palace were, you know. And if Eddie Howe can do that, maybe we can get a result at Anfield. I would like to see that happen, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, watching the game today, Sam Maximan, he tried his hardest, and even though things didn't go necessarily how he wanted, he kept plugging away. When he wasn't getting fouls, when moves weren't coming off, he stayed within the game. He kept himself composed, and he made a difference. He got us that equaliser that was necessary, and we were good value for that point. And I like to see what I'm seeing from him. Yeah, he was given the man of the match when I ran a poll as well, and yeah, he, he was critical to it, to what we were trying to achieve. Um, Watching the game, that midfield, Joe Linton, Sean Longstaff, and Joe Willock, they had the industry. They were trying to work hard, but it's that lack of especially going forward. We just do like that creativity without Bruno or Janjo available. I don't know what they're gonna do in terms of that. Hopefully they get some more minutes to Elliot Anderson because he was quite good when he came on as a sub today. And yeah, he needs more opportunities because when I was watching Joe Willock today, he was, I don't know, he was sauntering around. He just looked lost, and I don't understand why. Maybe he was a bit fatigued from playing on Wednesday, but his performance at times was just ragged. He had a good chance when Sean Longstaff should have got that penalty when he got his shirt tugged, but he fell through for Joe Willock, and he just hit a tame shot that went wide. And the goal from Ruben Neves when he was closing out, it went through his legs. And it's twice that's happened. When like last week, he got nutmegged by the Kevin De Bruyne pass, which can happen to anybody. But and as well as the goal today, but he's not looking at the races at the moment, and he has to be careful because there are players who are coming up with a lot of hunger, and Elliot Anderson really looks like he's just ready to get more minutes, and he can be effective in if he's given the opportunity. He just looks really composed on the ball. He's trying to be proactive. He's getting into dangerous spaces. I mean, he hit the crossbar and he won the free kick at the end, which was very poor from Fabian Shaw. But sometimes your connection on the ball is just poor. It just happens sometimes. But yeah, he's been a danger man, and that's what I like to see. He continues to be dangerous and getting himself into dangerous situations for the opposition to try and defend. And he's making good decisions. So I don't know what's going on with Joe Willock. Maybe it's because the instructions he's getting. He's not trying to press too much. He's trying to keep the shape for the team. There may be other things at play, but he did not look good today at all. I'm just gonna be honest about it. Hopefully, this man's available, Alexander Isaac, and he can get some minutes against Liverpool on Wednesday. But I have to wait and see. It was a surprise when I heard that his work permit hadn't gone through, but it shouldn't take too much longer for it to happen. I thought that would be an issue that would be sorted out immediately, but it may just be that it takes a bit longer now, especially due to Brexit. So we'll wait and see what happens in terms of that. I want to see him on the pitch as soon as possible. Give us another option because Wood, he was trying today, but he wasn't. Maybe it's because he's not getting service into the box because not enough crosses were coming in. But he wasn't making many great moves either way. He didn't look great. So yeah, all in all, everyone played pretty decently. You know, it was a lot of hard work, and everyone stuck to their tasks. Even though I felt like Joe Willock didn't do his best, he did keep trying to plug away. You could see he just really wasn't. He just didn't look sharp. But it may have just been fatigue, so it's unlikely. He may not. It most probably won't start on Wednesday, and especially if he's playing like that, he can't. Eddie Howe can't afford any passengers on Wednesday because Liverpool, after what they done to Bournemouth, that 9-0 spanking, I don't want to see that happen to Newcastle. So being lackadaisical and just sauntering on the pitch, it's just not really gonna be forgivable if that's how Joe Willock's gonna be playing. But I don't think he will. I think he'll be up for it. I think he may have got told off a bit after today's performance, and maybe he get a bit more rest as they shouldn't be. They have a bit more. They may look to rest them instead of having too many training sessions. It's been a very short turnaround, and I think there's a game on Saturday as well. So it may against Palace, I believe. So he may just look to just temper it down a little bit. But all in all, it was a good performance. Well, not good. It's just a hard-working performance, and that is good. Even though the quality wasn't necessarily there, everyone kept trying, especially coming back. Wolves isn't an easy place to go to, but they kept going for it, and the results will start coming. You know, we're getting more and more wins. It's 3 consecutive draws now. But the good was that right away we very much were hanging on. Man City was an exciting game and got the draw against them. We truthfully taking a point last week against Man City was a bonus. It would have been seen as that before the game. We were just a bit disappointed after it because the 2 goals up on them. But they were the champions. They are the champions, and they came back. And they done it again yesterday. They were 2-0 down. They came back and won the game. So we can't feel too bad about it. And today we should have been the winners. Really, that's how I really feel about it. But it's just one of those things. Yeah, so that's everything I noticed from today. I don't know what you've noticed. Just drop a comment and yeah, discuss it in the next broadcast. So wherever you are, have a good morning, afternoon, evening, or night. Peace.